Greetings, fellow dragon fruit lovers. This is Paul, and today I thought I'd do a fall update and show you what's going on here this October. As you can see, Mr. Wu here has had a wonderful year. It's topped the trellis, and it produced around a dozen fruit. As you can see, they're a nice size too. So let's show you what else is growing here. Now here is my Donovan's Laverne Red and a Thai Blood Dragon. You can see the differences in the branches. So I'm now mixing pots, but I make sure that the varieties are very different looking. And look at that first fruit off of Donovan's Laverne Red. So huge. It's a good size for its first fruit. Here's Rosa, and that is an Undatus from Oaxaca, Mexico. The fruit is okay. Now over here is Red Leonardo, also set of fruit down here at the base. I'm excited to try that Red Leonardo. Here is my Sabra. You can see it had a flower recently, and it also has a really nice looking fruit. Over here is Lisa, and I cross-pollinated it with a Desert King seedling. Let's see if that's set fruit. Try to use Desert King seedling pollen. And here's the Pride of Fallbrook, which is the wrong one. It's not the one that produces a magenta fleshed fruit. So I'm evaluating that one with Lisa. Here's some more. Here is El Grullo. It's got a nice flower that opened the other day. And I found it interesting, it actually had closed. Well, actually Trisha here had closed by 9 a.m. yesterday. But we're still getting lots of flowers all through October here. Usually the season kind of winds down to a close by Halloween. Now here's San Ignacio. It's been really, really productive. And this fruit tastes really good in my opinion. It tastes kind of like, reminds me of smashed strawberries. So I'm excited to eat some of the fruit off of this plant. That is San Ignacio. Here's a variety Trinidad. Scott's gotten fruit off of it. It's a lot like Red Jaina. And that's an unknown Guatemalan over there with it. This is an Undatus from Mexico, and this is Red Jaina. And you can see I actually used two types of pollen. And look at this. Very different looking fruit, as you can see. So that's Red Jaina. Makisupa, Gray Panama. This is an unknown one, and a Bloody Mary without fruit. This one's really exciting. This is Total Eclipse, and it's topping the trellis here, along with the Sugar Dragon. So this is Total Eclipse from Elk Creek Dragon Fruit Farm. Now this is Voodoo Child. You can see it's got lots of fruit and a flower opened last night. So Voodoo Child. Edgar and K1. I'm gonna remove Edgar hopefully today. The fruit is okay. And I have a Red ES1, which they say is the same thing, but in my opinion, the Red ES1 is slightly different. But either way, the fruit's not my favorite. That's Linda's Asunta 2, or Elk Creek Asunta 2. This is Black Dragon and Medusa are sharing a house here. You can see they're doing quite well. Pine Island Purple and Kathy Von Aram. Pink Panther and Shayna. You can see I need to spray this for aphids. Look at all the aphids there on the fruit. That's annoying. So do that today. Country Roads and Pelora. Nicaraguan Red is done for the year. Here is Spicy Exotics Neitzel, Cosmic Charlie, and Jim Neitzel's Fence, which is definitely different than the Spicy Exotics Neitzel, just to let you know. Edgar's Baby is done for the year. This is an interesting one called Larry Dodson's Self-Fertile. I just trellised this one, and it comes from an area in Guatemala. And over here is an Isis seedling from Oceanside. Hasn't fruited yet. And then here is Florida Red Sweet. Now it does produce a white flower. So that's Florida Red Sweet from Leo Manuel. Now moving on up here, Diego's Desert King seedling is going crazy. Look at this huge flower. And I cross-pollinated this with Cotton Candy 1-10. So we'll see if this sets fruit. I'll have to label it so I don't forget that that's the flower that I crossed with. Look at this, Yellow Columbiana, as you can see. These flower buds take a little bit longer to develop, and they take even longer to produce a viable, tasty fruit. So this is definitely what we call a winter crop. What else do we have over here? This is a no ID called I call it Del Riego just to keep track of where it came from. And it's very similar to American Beauty. But in my experience, it's a little bit sweeter, but very, very similar. Now here's a Cetaceous, and then here's one called Fullerton. I'm really excited to try it. Looks definitely like a Guatemalan, and it was really orange as it ripens. So another week or so, that fruit will be ready. Here's Elk Creek Unknown number 1. Really long bracts. I really like this fruit. It's magenta fleshed, and Brix is close to 20. You can see how many we have on this plant too. So it's been really, really productive. Even produced one down here at the base. Look at that. Nice sized fruit. And some more. Now over here we have Purple Haze. You can see I have some fruit set there. And one here. Purple Haze is a really delicious variety. It did get a little sensitive to the heat though this summer in our heat wave. The fruit kind of degraded, so that was something I learned. Here's one that the ants love to eat, the Argentine ants. This is Florida Sweet. You can see all the pests on there. Oh my gosh, I'll have to spray that too. You can see what they like to do when they really think that the branches are tasty. This is ant damage from Argentine ants. They only do this to the really sweet varieties, I've noticed. And Florida Sweet is a really great fruit. I had one last year. You can see I have one here at the base again. So I look forward to having a nice fruit that's on this plant next season when it's a bit more mature. But a really tasty variety so far. You can see the ants really, really like to eat it. Love to eat the branches. Okay, what else do we have here? Here's an unknown one. You can see it set fruit on the ground. It's an unknown white flesh. Jade red, you can see has a nice flower bud here. And it's growing really well here as it gets cold. Over here is Kaslower K. And this one is a great variety because it tends to have a nice big wave late in the season. So these Nicaraguans tend to start a little bit later, but they also flower and fruit a bit later in the season. So a really good variety to have to make sure that you get fruit towards the end of the season. Beautiful red flesh fruit here. All right, let's go see what else we can find. So here's Leo Manuel's red ES1, which stands for Edgar's seedling number 1. And it produced really big flowers, so hopefully it set fruit. I'm excited to try those fruits this season. Have not had it from that plant. Here's George's red, very sweet red variety. It's my first fruit on there. And it also had another flower, as you can see. What else is going on here? Natural Mystic is having its last wave. This one tends to like to flower late into the season as well. But make sure you pull these off. You can see that there's some rot there. We want to keep it clean. That's Natural Mystic. Paul Thompson's 5S has some fruit here down at the base. So I'm interested to see if this tastes the same and it should be the same as Purple Haze. So I look forward to confirming that soon. Here is Esmeralda, which topped the trellis. Didn't get a flower yet, but you can see lots of branches growing into the fall. And then this one is Cotton Candy 1-10. And I got this one from Donovan Vasta back in 2019. So I'm really excited to try this variety. It's got 2 flowers that are going to open, and this one I cross-pollinated 2 nights ago. Dark Star over here was going big, so here's Dark Star. And some more flowers that just opened. Now this is Sayarong's Orange Dragon. It's a Megalanthus. So I'll have this fruit to try in a couple months. You can see it also has one more flower bud too. Over here is Wallace Ranch's Assunta. Looks very similar to Axe, but if I recall, this one was different than Axe. So the Wallace Ranch Assunta. Here's a beautiful American Beauty fruit that I get to pick today. Look at that. It's ready to go. Didn't split at the cone yet, but it's ready. And here's Axe, which is one of my favorite of the Assunta series. Really delicious fruit in my opinion, really sweet. And what else do we have over here? The Guatemalans are mostly done, at least here in the yard. No more flower buds. But Sugar Dragon is going big still. You can see here. And here's another Sugar Dragon. Beautiful fruit that's ready to eat. And here's one that was a branch that turned into a flower bud. You can see the unique structure. Really long. Check it out. You can see it's got another flower opening soon. Here's Danny's Sugar Dragon SD9, which is Sugar Dragon. And then here's one I really like, Neon. I must say, in my humble opinion, I like Neon slightly more than Sugar Dragon. But I just want to make sure that it opens and blooms as early in the season as Sugar Dragon does. It's been really productive, and you can see it's got plenty more flower buds. Here's a big mess of plants that I'm going to be moving and repotting. Some really, really rare ones like Don Burnett's 1-12, which is sister seedling to Queen Denarius, Connie G, and more. And I have Connie G here, Queen Denarius, and more. Lots of fun things here. I'm going to be hopefully trellising soon. This one's really, really unique. This is Leo's Trisha Undatus. Trisha crossed with Undatus. He got it from Edgar Valdivia. You can see here, really unique looking branches with a nice coat. So that's an old variety. Not sure if Edgar named it ever. Here's another hybrid by Leo Manuel, Hyloceres Undatus crossed with Hyloceres costarricensis. So I'm excited to try that fruit. And this is Don Burnett seedling 1-3. So it's just topping the trellis. Over here we do have a yellow Thai fruit. So I did set fruit on there, which is exciting. And here's a weird unknown called Leo's number 1. So we'll hopefully try the fruit. It's really spiny. Here's a very old Frankie's Red. No fruit on it this season. You can see some of these smaller plants, like here's another one of Leo's hybrids. It's set 2 flowers and fruit on it, despite its small size. Here is Hong Red, H-O-A-N-G Red. And this one is interesting because this was sharing a pot with Kwangong Self-Fertile. But they're definitely different plants. So I'm excited to try that fruit here in a couple weeks. Moving on up this hill here. This is the temporary section of Leo's hybrids, and you can see I have a lot of fruit still I'm gonna have to try. It's almost out of hand here. Look at them all. And they're very, very different. You can see how unique they are. This one versus these. These actually look similar, but there's a lot of variability between Leo's seedlings. Here's another one. This is Hyloceres undatus crossed with G2, one of Leo's plants, hybrids. He had 3 pots. Here are two more. Here's another pot of that cross, Undatus crossed with G2. And here's one I really like, Pink Condor. Now, the first fruit tasted to me like a giant pink panther. It was really delicious. Really bright pink and Brixed high 19s. And here's a smaller fruit forming off of one of Leo's hybrids. And I think that's about it for now. Now we did make this cool wall here. I'm making this a dragon fruit wall. You can see. And so what I did here is I took a terracotta pot and I drilled lots of holes with a ceramic drill bit. And I'm just gonna let these dragons grow on this wall here, as you can see. And they're Undatus varieties. And I just want them to spread here. It's a nice shady spot. And I think they'll be really happy here. You can see there's another fruit that's set. And this variety here is Ken's Hardy Undatus. I got it from the late Leo Manuel. You can see how old it is. So there you go. That's what's going on here in most of the yard. So give us a like and a subscribe. Thanks for watching. We'll keep you in touch with everything growing on here. Have yourself a great day. Thanks for watching. And of course, take care.